Good afternoon to you. 4:06. It's Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. We're live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State, also live on Facebook and on YouTube. We're having the crucial conversations that Erie needs, and anytime I could talk entrepreneurship and new businesses, I'm down with it. And so I want to welcome to our studios here, Advanced Laser Restoration, and we'll go around the bend here. Corey Chevalier is the Vice President of Advanced Laser Restoration, right? Do I have that right, Corey?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All right. And we've got Greg Price, owner and founder of ALR. Good to see you.
Thank you.
And we've got Jacob Thomas. He's the president of ALR Erie. Good to see you, Jacob.
Good afternoon.
All righty. So we're a family show. Let's get some origin stories. We'll start with you, Corey, here. You grew up around here, right?
Yes, sir, I did.
We're at high school, and tell us a little bit about coming up.
Well, as you said, I grew up here, Chestnut Hill Drive in Mill Creek. Graduated from McDowell High School in 2005.
Yeah.
Promptly joined the U.S. Navy. I left in September of 2005 for the Navy, and haven't been back since. So Navy took me all over the world, started a family, got married, and Jacob Thomas, the president of ALR, brought some opportunities my way, and I was facing retirement, so I retired, and then never thought I'd be back here, but I'm happy I moved up and gave this opportunity to try, and so far it's been great.
Terrific. Let's jump to Jacob, because you're the other local guy here, right, Jacob?
Yes, sir.
So how did you come up?
So I, from Rochester, New York, originally moved here in 85, went to Our Lady's Christian School, graduated from Cathedral Prep in 99. And shortly after high school, I started J. Thomas Tree Service here in town.
Okay.
And we are 20 years running as of this year.
I think I know your folks or something, or your in-laws.
Possibly, maybe.
The Lindenberg.
Yes, so
Yeah.
that's my wife, Dave and Steph. That's her parents. Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
All right, so you guys are getting into a little something different with this, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow. Again, serial entrepreneurs, right?
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, pretty amazing. All righty, and so Greg, this is your concept, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about how you came up.
So, born in Oregon, moved as a baby to Winslow, Arizona. So a really tiny town. I think the Eagles sang about
I was standing on a corner.
of Winslow, Arizona. That's
I'm sure
right.
you get it every time.
All the time.
Yes.
Ended up moving there to Hawaii, believe it or not, when I was 10. Spent 6 years in Hawaii. Ended up moving to Florida from there, so complete opposite side of the states.
Mm-hmm.
Was there till I was 21. Ended up moving into Chicago. Was there 15 years. North Carolina for 11, and then back to Florida. While I was in Chicago, I was a finished carpenter. Ended up getting into an industry I never thought I would be in, which was the LED lighting industry. Patented the tunable white LED light. Sold that company. Started Advanced Laser Restoration shortly after that in 2022, and just saw a massive opportunity in this industry.
This is only 4 years ago.
Yeah, started 4 years ago, and we're in 7 countries now.
Oh my God. Okay. There's a big difference from like LED lighting to lasers.
It sounds like it, right? And I would agree with you. If I didn't know anything about lasers at the time, I would have never thought I would be in lasers. But laser light essentially is created from a light source,
Sure.
bounces around inside of a little tube with a mirror, and then that light comes out as a fiber optic light, and then we use that light for cleaning. So I actually had the opportunity to create the LED source that goes inside of the laser, the LED light source, to produce our laser light that is just phenomenal at cleaning.
All right, let's get the basis of the cleaning thing with this here. What kinds of things are you cleaning with lasers? And again, I can't help but feel like sure. I'm, Dr. Evil talking about lasers.
Right? Actually,
lasers.
Sometimes it's easier, honestly, to tell you what we can't clean.
Oh.
Because the list is tiny. So we can't do fabric with the laser for obvious reasons. We don't do human skin, no kind
Sure.
of animal flesh, anything like that.
Yeah.
And low temperature plastics, like let's say, for example, maybe like the case on your phone would be scarred by the laser,
Okay.
and or destroyed completely at the wrong settings. So anything fragile like that. But the things that we do excel at, and actually what really put advanced laser restoration on the map, are things like wood. So we actually had a franchise location in Terrence is his name, in Springfield, Missouri.
Okay.
And his 9-year-old son videoed his dad for the very first time ever cleaning wood with a laser. And Terrence called me and he's like, hey, I think I figured out how to do wood. We just need to be able to like adjust settings a little bit. And so we worked with him on it, made some changes. We posted that video, and it was a terrible video, to be honest with you. It was shaky. I mean, you're talking a
Yeah.
9-year-old kid videoed it.
Sure.
So he wasn't thinking, this is going to be like video cinema quality. That video ended up going viral overnight. Landed us in Jeff Bezos' house. We've done stuff for Mark Zuckerberg on his property in Hawaii, like a lot of big time wood projects that happen. And it's just been growing ever since. Some franchisees with videos that are hitting over 20 million views. And we just grew like wildfire.
All right. And again, Jacob, you coming from the tree service industry, you're used to dealing with consumers, like residential, right?
Yes, sir.
And there's a lot of folks that either they go into tree trimming, they might go into power washing, they might go into other kinds of services for. Am I making the right assumption that you can use, instead of using, let's say, a power washer, you can do a deck with a laser?
Yes, sir. 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where we're at here.
Yeah, the big play, if you think about it, our most precious resource is water. Without it, the planet dies. And when you're talking about trying to protect the water source, the world has created so many chemicals. And I remember when I was in the cabinet industry, like the finishing products that were used were so toxic.
Sure.
And then the EPA cracked down, and now a lot of the products are water-based, including the chemicals. But the problem is the chemicals don't work like they used to. They now you could use like citrus strip, for example, but so much of it and then it still contaminates the water source because you're disposing of a chemical. You're using a green, what they classify as a green chemical, but the byproduct is not green.
Right.
The byproduct is whatever varnish that's put on is not green. So that's still contaminating the environment. Whereas with a laser, when you ablate something, you're basically incinerating it. The byproduct for the most part is ash, which we know, like if you burn a forest down, forest grows back better because now you basically have fertilized. So you're able to eliminate a lot of the toxic chemicals from the water source by using a laser. You're no longer using water anymore for that. Some of our applications like that are big with that would be like, let's say, for example, like in Vegas with MGM, the amount of water that we save them is so astronomical because being able to use a laser instead of using the water and the chemicals. But then it's also you're saving the gas money to transport those chemicals, the plastic bottles that don't go into the ocean or landfills anymore. It spills over and over and over. The picture's much bigger than just the laser doing something really cool.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm thinking institutional. I was a housekeeper at the hospital. That's how I made my way through college.
Okay, cool.
And I had to scrub those showers for the doctor's lounge. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, a lot of chemicals. We use very heavy duty because we had to really kill all the germs, right? This is even before, I'm telling you how old I am. This is really before, some of the viruses that were prevalent, right? And universal precautions. I can't even imagine the kind of sterility that would come from laser light.
It's instant. Like we can remove, like, let's say mold that forms on the surface of drywall, for example. Typically in that application, you're using bleach to get rid of it. Then it's got to dry out before you can repaint it. It doesn't really even necessarily kill all of the spores. And so with the laser, when you hit it, you're vaporizing, you're incinerating it. So there is nothing left when you're done. And the drywall is dry at the same time. So you don't have any disposal of the chemical going, back into a landfill.
No odors.
Yeah, no odors.
Wow.
and then you can paint it instantly. So yeah, just like what you're saying, we can clean grout. Let's say, for example, commercial kitchens, we can clean the stainless steel appliances, the deep fryers, and people would think a laser around like grease and oil is a fire
incinerate or
risk and all
something.
that.
Yeah.
But that's not the case at all. In fact, we've got, I mean, obviously lots of videos on that, on our Instagram, just showing like all of the uses. There's hundreds and hundreds of uses.
Corey, I want to ask you, when you think about, again, you've been everywhere, man, right? I mean,
Yes,
20 years in the Navy, and you hear a concept like this. Is your first reaction to say, come on?
That's exactly what how we reacted. I've been following this technology for a couple years now on social media. I'm big into the automotive, restoration, more of a hobbyist, and you see these on TikTok and Instagram. A lot of them aren't real, and a lot of them are, for lack of better terms, cheaply made, or inaccessible. So I knew it was out there, but it's just one of those things that you see on the internet. It's got to be fake. And it wasn't until we saw it in person in Orlando, Florida. We went to the ARA, which is the American Rental Association conference. Jacob and myself were looking for more equipment to add to our arsenal for our other company. And we saw this in person, and we weren't there for the lasers, but it's just one of those technologies that once you see it in person, it's hard to look away.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a phenomenal technology that they have perfected at American Laser Restoration.
Jacob, do you get a sense that we're in a moment here where we should keep our eyes wide open for these emerging technologies?
Yeah, I mean, the world's changing, and I think this is an opportunity for us to change with it.
Yeah.
This is a new way of cleaning. This is a new way of restoration. Like Greg said, you're taking away the chemicals. You're taking away, you haven't used that excessive amount of water. We can take stain right off of wood, powder coating and paint right off of metals. I mean, the list goes on. It really does. It's very, very impressive.
And it's not one of those fad,
Right.
cleaners or technologies.
Yeah, we've had lasers for a while.
Correct.
Right.
But it's a new use.
Yeah, there is life and a huge future for this technology.
All right, we got to take our first break here. We're talking to Greg, Jacob, and Corey from Advanced Laser Restoration. More ahead here on Talk Erie. Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. We're talking about this advanced laser restoration in Erie, and they're having a grand opening of their new facility out in Lake City. It's 142 Keystone Drive, 10042 Keystone Drive in Lake City, Friday from 1 until 5 with live demonstrations, food, equipment showcases, and they're saying how we are changing the game in restoration. Greg, Jacob, and Corey are with us here. We're talking about the future of restoration. And you mentioned cars. I'm thinking of what some of the things, whether they're mechanical or they might even be, antiques that people are looking to restore. So what are some of the case studies that you can talk to me about?
So we actually have a franchise location in Huntersville, North Carolina. That location is owned and operated by Scott Mulder.
Okay.
He had a 67 Mustang that a customer had called him about. It was like this guy's prized possession, and ended up, Scott was really nervous about doing it. It was his first car, and it was an expensive car.
Wow.
And ended up being able to strip the paint off of it. What was unique about it was aluminum, this whole car. And we were shocked.
Yeah.
And the laser did such a great job that the owner of the car is like, I'm not painting this car. And so he did a little bit of like extra metal work on it to be able to maintain it so that it was just the raw aluminum. And I thought that was really impressive and kind of a statement to what lasers can do, because a lot of people are worried, like, is it going to damage the surface? Like when we do wood, especially, is it going to burn it?
Sure.
And of course it doesn't. But even on like metals, can it damage? Of course, if with the wrong settings and the wrong training and the wrong person behind it. But, we take a lot of time to train the technicians so that they understand what they're doing. We've developed really cool software for it to be able to execute a project, let's say, like that.
What are some of the safety guidelines, though? You never would want to look at the laser or something. How does that all work?
So safety is the number one thing. There is nothing more important than like, you only got 2 eyes, right?
Right.
If you're lucky. So if you operate this laser without the proper eyewear, for example, you could end up blind. More than likely, you'll end up with cataracts first, which can be fixed, but with continued improper use. And that's something like that we've seen a lot with, like, as overseas companies kind of jump on board trying to copy what we're doing. There's videos everywhere that with operators operating without safety glasses, operators operating without the right respiratory equipment for whatever types of coatings that they're pulling.
Wow.
So you have to operate safe, and Advanced Laser, we really honestly pride ourselves on being like the pinnacle of setting the standard of safety. I think Corey and Jacob can attest to the fact that we've been this week spent a lot of time training not just the 2 of them, but 2 of their employees on the laser use, but the safety part of it. And in fact, even this morning we quizzed them. We're like, hey, what's the number one thing you learned yesterday?
Yeah.
And of course, one of the Chris, it was one of their employees, like right away is like safety. Like the eyewear. And
How does it interface with rust? Again, you're in Erie, Pennsylvania, where we have a lot of salt.
Rust Belt.
So I think laser cleaning actually got its roots in cleaning rust. Like was the
Interesting.
application where the laser excels at removing rust. It's so easy. That and soot, like soot from fire damage or off like fireplace, like let's say surrounds and things like that.
Yeah.
Those 2 are great applications for laser cleaning. But rust is the one that really was the backbone of getting this technology off the ground.
Can you imagine a chimney sweep using a laser? Like what is that? I can't remember. What's the chemical?
Clean sweep. Yep.
Yeah. Well, there's a Cleosoc that gets. I'm not pronouncing it right. Builds up in the chimney, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, around here, a lot of wood burning fireplaces, even the gas ones, will get that soot up in there. So, I mean, it's like you're saying that basically, what you said is very little can't be cleaned by a laser.
What really is the only limiting factor right now is the time to produce the technology for all the applications. That's really the limiting factor that we have right now. It's just like from where we started in 2022 to where we are today is leaps. I mean, we're stripping wood floors with lasers now. No more sanding wood floors, no more removing wood, actually. We're only removing the coating. So think about long-term effects on like the forests. You need less wood, less cabinets need to be replaced, less wood floors need to be replaced. A lot of wood floors that were produced had like the aluminum oxide finishes that were supposed to last for 25 years. But then you're facing trends where the dark floor it's out of trend now. Now everybody wants a lighter floor. So now but those floors weren't designed to be sanded because they're just a veneer.
Right.
But now we can go in and laser clean them. And then we've even partnered with companies like LED Coating Solutions, where now you can actually coat the floors and cure them instantly. So all in a one-day floor refinish. So it's just the applications just keep growing. We just need time to get to all of them.
And the original, the original intention for it was this restoration, cleaning, and dealing with rust.
Like honestly, it was rust removal, oil and grease removal, like engine blocks, concrete, paint removal. And then from there, it just kind of like spiraled into like wood, mold, graffiti. Like it just kept growing and growing. Now we're doing like even like passivation tanks and like, like things that we would have never thought. There are applications we use it for plastic, like with Volvo, UPS, Toyota, like where you've got these applications that we would have never thought were possible.
How does it do on concrete?
So interesting. It's kind of crazy the way that we found this out. So there were some grease and oil spots on concrete. And so of course we know the laser can vaporize the grease and oil very easily. But the problem is concrete's so porous, the oil soaks in. So how do you get it out? Because the laser can only clean what it can see. Kind of like shining a flashlight. If I shine a flashlight straight at you, it's shadowed behind you, it's dark.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with the laser. The laser can't clean around anything. So the light has to actually, be there in contact with it. So when you clean oil and grease out of concrete, the issue is the fact that you've got the oil and grease it can see, but what's below that starts to seep back up after a little bit of time, maybe even a couple days or a week. How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
And so what we did is we ran some tests, and there's a cleaning process that's actually really common with steam, right? So people use steam to clean, and then they'll use, let's say, Dawn dish soap for oil to break down oil. So we can use Dawn dish soap and water to our advantage. We can soak that concrete after the first clean, scrub it in. The water soaks down with the Dawn dish soap, breaks up the oil and grease, then we hit it with the laser, it steams it out. And so we now have concrete that you can now epoxy coat without an issue.
Again, I go to Jacob, who lives in this natural world a lot, with these trees. I mean, this kind of natural approach, non-toxic approach has got to be fascinating to you.
Yeah, I mean, as a certified arborist, and in the world that I'm in, this just kind of coexists with it in a sense, right?
Yeah.
It's all about the environment and keeping things, copacetic.
Yeah. All right, we got to hit a hard break at the bottom of the hour. We're talking to Advanced Laser Restoration. We'll talk to some of their other ideas here. It's Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. Sorry.
Forgot about that.
Learning entrepreneurship here on a Tuesday edition of the Joel Natale Show, live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here. It's Advanced Laser Restoration, and we've got Jacob Thomas and Corey Chevalier. They are president and VP, respectively, of ALR Erie. And Greg Price is visiting with us. He's the owner and founder of Advanced Laser Restoration. Their grand opening this Friday, 1 to 5 at the warehouse in Lake City, 10042 Keystone Drive in Lake City. How many square feet you got out there, Jacob?
30,000, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, sir.
And it's for all three of your businesses? How many businesses do you have now?
So we have J. Thomas Tree Service
Yes.
under this roof. We have J. Thomas Crane Company. We have Flagship Equipment Company, and now we have Advanced Laser Restoration.
So wow. Tell me quickly about the cranes and the equipment.
I could talk all day. So we have about $2 million of equipment out there in the tree service and in crane world. Right now we have what's called a tree mech. It's a Mechanol saw. We also have a 40-ton crane. We have track lifts, which is what we are the first sub dealer in the country for the Flagship Equipment Company. So we buy, sell, and rent track lifts.
What is that?
So it's a tracked unit that has basically like a spider lift. It has outriggers that go down and a man basket up in the air. You can reach anywhere from 60 feet up to what we sell currently about 89 feet. Isn't that correct, Corey?
Yes, sir.
We can get into tight spaces. So these things can get through a 36-inch standard gate. And they can
36-inch?
Yep, just a standard gate, so they close right up and get right into backyards very easily. It makes it safer and less strenuous for our workers to get up in the air and do some things that we used to have to climb to do, back in the day.
And then tell me about the equipment service. What is that?
Go ahead, Corey, if you want to.
Yes, sir. We service, obviously not just sell and rent, but we service these track lifts, all the products we sell.
Okay.
We also rent JLG scissor lifts.
Okay, sure.
19-foot scissor lifts. We service those as well. And really kind of anything that comes in the door.
Right.
Like true entrepreneurs.
We'll take it all. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and again, looking to add to our rental arsenal fleet there comes Advanced Laser Restoration. So being able to rent these machines, not just provide the service, is a game changer for people, in the hobbyist industry or DIYers.
Oh, yeah. So describe how that would work. Again, what would be my project that I would rent? I mean, are we talking about a day rental where I'm going to clean
sir.
my
Day,
gutters or
day, week, month? So what the process is say I have a kitchen, right? My wife Alyssa wants to have our kitchen cabinets redone, and I'm just the type of guy that's a DIYer, right? I don't like hiring people when I know I can do it myself. Problem is I don't have the tools to do that, right? Unless I want to get a bunch of chemicals out, strip paint, sand paint, but then I'm dealing with dust, debris, cleanup everywhere. So I go online, I see Advanced Laser Restoration, and I see that they rent the machines. So what does that mean? Anybody from the street can just go in, grab a machine, take it home, and then they're just blasting laser beams everywhere. Obviously, that wouldn't work,
right? Yes.
So what we do is we provide a OSHA certified course. It's to become what's called an LSO, a laser safety officer. And the renter can either do the course at home in their leisure, or they can do it on the premises. And what they would do is bring in a certificate. The course takes about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe 45, depending on how in depth. They bring us a certificate. They say, hey, I want to rent the machine for Saturday and Sunday. I have kitchen cabinets I'm going to blast or, laser clean, or I have a vehicle in my garage that, I gather all my parts. Now I hit all the parts on Saturday afternoon. They come in, grab the laser machine from us, or we can deliver the laser machine, do what they need to do, and then they return it. It's as simple as that. No different than any other equipment rental process outside of the LSO course.
If you were going to, let's say you've got that VW Bug that is just this has been the project of your life, but you really want to clean it up. How does it work around things like rubber and gaskets and things like
So
that?
that's a great question. We get that question asked a lot because in cars too, there's got the electrical wires and things
Sure,
like that.
yeah.
So you want to know how simple it really is? Aluminum foil.
You just kind of
You wrap
protect
aluminum
certain
foil
things.
around it. Aluminum foil will form around anything, and the laser reflects off of the aluminum foil, so it won't damage any other surface. If you do need to tape something off,
Mm-hmm.
you can put blue painter's tape down and then use like foil tape, like they use on ductwork.
Sure.
To put that over the top, just because that tape is really sticky.
Yeah.
So and the blue tape will release really easily.
Oh, that's a
so-
smart. That's a smart
Mm-hmm.
way
which
to
I
do
which
that.
I should mention with the rental side,
Yeah.
like the question you asked. We're the only company in the world that has built a full stack AI support system for this industry. So when somebody rents a unit, they have the same access to the same technology that our franchisees have access to from the support side. So when they rent this machine and they get home and they're like, what settings do I use?
Where do I start?
Right.
Yep.
Wow.
We have AI agents built for everything. So
Right.
not just for the safety, but for the how to do the settings. Even from setup PPE, how do I mask this off? They can literally ask it anything, and it's populated with all of the correct data.
Can I ask you about your manufacturing process?
Sure,
Like,
absolutely.
how did it go from? I mean, did you 3D print this, or I mean, how'd you go from concept to
Sure.
mass production?
So it started a very long time ago, in 2009, when I was a kitchen and bath showroom owner. I came out of carpentry into kitchen and bath and did that for about 10 years in Chicago. And I got into the LED lighting industry and realized that there was a lot of problems in that industry, a lot of things that were lacking. And so I got into manufacturing. It was my first brush at manufacturing. And I ended up developing over 130 products for that industry.
Wow.
Products that are used all over the world now. And that taught me how to manufacture, but also taught me how to like troubleshoot. It taught me technology, like creating like, let's say like voice controls for lighting that's used like in Amazon Alexas and things like that. All of that is what really catapulted me to be able to do this. If I hadn't gone through that experience, this business today for me wouldn't exist. So coming out of that, selling that company, was kind of semi-retired, doing some metal manufacturing for the laser industry, like with safety enclosures, and started looking around at all the problems and just decided, you know what, if I could take a laser engraving machine, for example, and scale it up and build the right software for it and design the machine for ease of use, then this could be a massive business. And honestly, like I'll tell you one of the simple, besides all the technology and lasers are cool and everything, but I'll tell you like one of the simple things that we came up with that makes this machine rentable and usable by one person is as simple as the stair climbing wheel system.
Stair climbing wheel system.
Yep. So imagine you have something that weighs 130 to 140 pounds. You're
Sure.
one person. Just trying to lift it up a flight of stairs would be really hard. So now you got to what? Get a dolly to try to take it up a flight of stairs. So we just built it into the machine. So it has stair climbing wheels. So you can roll it over any obstacle and the wheels articulate up and down stairs. One person can move it really easy.
That's
So it's a simple
really-
innovation, really. Has no technology really behind it, but just user, to make it easy for the user.
How many do you make of these a year? Unless that's
Well, yeah, so
private
we
information.
don't
yeah.
disclose that
Yeah.
number because, it's a fast-growing industry. I
Yeah.
can tell you this, that in 2025, globally, over $1 billion worth of laser cleaning machines were introduced
Is
into the
that
market
right?
just in 2025. Since 2022, it's a lot more. By 2030, it'll be an estimated close to 28 billion. It's a massive industry.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, Jacob, again, as an entrepreneur, as you and Corey are evaluating these things, give us some pointers on, what were some of the highlights and what were some of the big question marks that you had because you had to make a big bet to dive into this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Really just how does this work? How can we use it? How can we take it and bring it to the community?
Doesn't it have to make sense to you? And I'm afraid that some entrepreneurs dive into things that they don't really understand, but maybe they heard stuff oh, this all be good, or I can maintain this, or I'll have a big payday.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So the big thing for us was, the support and the communication of ALR behind, the whole situation. Having these guys have our back and having them answer questions and give us all the tools we need to succeed has been the biggest part of this. And just like right now, they're here with us for a week just to train and make sure everything is good and be here for our grand opening and to support us and launch us off into the community here in Erie. And, it's just been great. It's been great to work with them, and they have been the real reason why we've been able to get to this point today.
Well, he says that, but I'll tell you, when we met them at the ARA show and the two of them walked away from our booth, I looked at Adrian, who's my right-hand man, just like maybe Corey's his right-hand man or vice versa. And I was like, God, I hope we end up working with those guys. I was like, those guys are great.
Yeah.
They have the same mindset, We're all team players. We're all in it to help each other. And you had asked about like entrepreneurship and like
Yes.
people jumping in.
Yeah.
When I was 13 years old, this guy, his name was Bob. Everybody called him Crazy Bob because he would show us what honestly was crazy things, and he showed me some things that made me think outside of the box. But he told me and my younger brother something that was life-changing for me when it comes to entrepreneurship. He said, in the world, there's only 3 kinds of people. And I'm like, no, there's like races, like economical background. He said, doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter your how much money you make, nothing. He said, there's the kind of people that make it happen, the kind of people that watch it happen, and the kind of people that wonder what the hell just happened.
Yeah.
And the reality is, when I met them, I could tell they were make it happen people. Mm-hmm. But we see people all the time they think the technology's cool, or they have this idea and they never do it, and they're just watching life happen. And then they'll see somebody have success, and those are the people that are wondering what just happened.
Another thing that we consider, again, that sometimes holds people back is this idea too big for a smaller community like ours? Making it fit the Erie metro. Now, obviously, you can go regional, can't you, Corey? I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah, talk about that.
You could take this anywhere. And to answer that question, is this technology too big for Erie? We kind of discussed this on break. Computers. Everybody thought computers were too big for the world. Nobody understood them. Life is about adaptability. How do you adapt? How do you overcome? You embrace technology. And that's kind of the entrepreneurial spirit. That's what built this country, right? We had the Steel Age, Pittsburgh, in the 60s, 70s. If you're not embracing change and adapting to what comes your way, then what are we doing? This town has come, just in the 20 years that I've been gone, right? It doesn't even look like the same city in a positive way.
Yeah.
We've embraced change. We're embracing our heritage, the historical part of Erie, which, as everybody knows, we have a huge historical factor in this town that can be preserved and saved from this technology. I think once people see this and see what we're doing around the city and around the town, they'll understand. Seeing is believing in this.
Just look at what Tom Hagen's doing downtown, right? Mm-hmm. And he's actually preserving these buildings, not tearing them apart and making them new. So that's where we would fit right in the mold there.
I tell you what, though, he probably could have used one of these, Jeff Kidder, and what I mean?
Still can.
I mean, you think about the caked on paint.
Yeah.
On some of these apartment buildings, they turned, they were Gannon Apartments, and now they're bringing them back as the billionaires and the millionaires row again.
Yes, sir.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Well, we've seen a big uptick in the historical side of things.
Have you?
We have a franchise location there in Springfield, and the city actually came to him because a lot of the historical buildings, similar to right here in Erie, they got tagged with graffiti. And the brick is so old, the mortar sold, they can't pressure wash it. It destroys the brick, it destroys the mortar.
Or sandblast.
And they can't sandblast it. And so it's like now they're like really struggling with that. And Terrence was able to go in and do a demo for them. And they ended up authorizing him for 9 locations that he went through and removed the graffiti with 0 damage to the brick and the mortar on those buildings, saving the historical nature of them, which that's a huge, like that I feel is like a badge of, of honor for us in that.
Greg, it almost sounds miraculous.
It does. It honestly does. Honestly, I feel really lucky to have, like, in a way, like I'm a big risk taker.
Yeah.
And people in my family are not. In fact, I've been heavily criticized during my career for taking so many risks. But you only live once, so to speak. And, you know, like Crazy Bob said, you know, you got to make something happen. So let's do it.
Pointers, again, for other would-be entrepreneurs. What would you, I mean, again, you've been a serial entrepreneur, you guys, you know, it's fascinating to see, you know, even as competition comes, right? You're still able to have a niche and grow, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I mean, all I can say, you know, for people that are out there that want to do something and do something special, just go for it. You know, if you don't go for it, you're not going to get it. You know, and that's just all there is to it.
Fine. Most people have an idea, like you said, written on the back of a napkin, but they don't know how to execute it, right? I kind of had the opposite problem. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? I didn't have an idea yet, though. I just knew, I was like, okay, I want to be in business for myself. I want to start my own company. I want it to be my passion. But I didn't know what that passion was.
And there's something that comes up with military experience. I mean, you're very empowered, you know, as a person.
Right.
In that
it
context.
gives you a ton of leadership experience.
Exactly.
Right. You know, you go through situations that are stressful environments, high speed, low drag. Your op tempo is just constantly high. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, military really makes some of the best entrepreneurs that I've seen, especially the successful ones.
Mm-hmm.
What I recommend is not to plug a book here.
Yeah.
My father's an entrepreneur, and it means a lot to me to kind of follow in his footsteps. He's owned his own company for 35, 40 years now. He gave me a book called Who Owns the Ice House?
I've heard of this.
It's a phenomenal book about an entrepreneurial story. The author is telling a story about his grandfather who started his own ice business, and it taught me a lot about the entrepreneurial spirit, the entrepreneurial mind, kind of what it takes, you know, to be an entrepreneur, facing hardships, facing adversity, because you're going to face that, right?
Yeah.
We still don't even, you know, we haven't even tapped our true potential yet.
No.
And it's exciting to see, you know, where we'll go.
And we're looking forward to it.
5 years.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, like you was talking about, like them taking a leap of faith. Being an entrepreneur, I think people, like when I've talked to people who are like, God, I wish I could be like you, or more. They're the one thing I always find is that they're afraid of failure. And what I tell them is what I was told: it's not failure; it's just a lesson.
Yeah.
There's never problems. There's only
Right.
solutions.
Only solutions. Yeah.
Yeah, you're always learning.
Always
Give an invitation, Jacob, to the event on Friday again here.
Yeah. So we have Advanced Laser Restoration grand opening Friday, June 5th from 1 to 5, 10042 Keystone Drive, Lake City, PA. Please come. Otis 12 is catering,
Nice.
and there's going to be a lot of people there.
And bring a part.
Bring a part to clean. We'll clean it right on site for you.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, bring whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Jacob Thomas, Greg Price, Corey Chevalier. Thank you, gentlemen. What a fun story.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Amazing stuff.
Thank you.
We're continuing on here on a Tuesday. It is 4:53. Talk Erie.